So, it is said that you should not intervene in other people's lives. You should not try to rescue them. And this is completely true. You should not. Why do I say this? Because on many occasions I've identified somebody who I thought had a lot of merit and with whom I had some kind of a relationship, and these people were in trouble of some kind. There was some situation, but I'm not talking about sort of a specific situation like they needed a ride to the airport or they needed to be bailed out of jail. I'm talking about there were existential situations, structural facts about their lives that seemed to be preventing them from being what they could be, that seemed to be holding them back in a very big way. And I would try to rescue them. And every time, here's what happened. Initially, they would respond very positively, but then they would become enormously, just unfathomably, indescribably bitter, and would then come at me with the fury of hell behind them. I mean, I've never seen such wrath. And what was going on? Well, look, generally, if somebody chronically has a certain kind of problem, if they chronically have this problem, and if that is the case, it's because they want to have it. Okay, this is not new material, but it's worth stating, and I think I'm going to add a new wrinkle to it, though. And here's the thing, which is that this situation of constant victimization or whatever that they're experiencing is works for them. And here's the new wrinkle I was talking about, which is that if you actually change their life, if you upset their neurotic apple cart, that means that they're going to have to do a lot of work. Okay, whatever else you might say about their condition of morbidity, it is stable. Okay, neurotic conditions, neurotic integrations are stable, almost essentially by definition. And so yes, the people afflicted by those neuroses are impaired tautologously, I guess, or so it seems. I say so it seems because it's not really clear that there's some other identity there waiting to get out. But that's not an easy question to answer, and there may not be a general answer to it. But sure, maybe they're impaired, but whatever else it is stable. And if that equilibrium is shattered, if that apple cart is upset, that means that these people are going to have to do a lot of work. People sometimes do work very hard sometimes people do break out of their own neurotic equilibria. Okay, sometimes they do break out of these body casts of neurosis, of self-defeatism and self-imposed victimhood. Sometimes they do. And sometimes, and if they take that first step, then they're very likely to take the subsequent necessary steps. They're likely to then go to the trouble of building a new life for themselves or of restoring integrity to their old lives. But first of all, when that happens, the people in question usually take the first step. They may need some help. They may need a lot of help, but they will go to enormous lengths to take that first step. They will be the ones to initiate the process of excavating themselves out of all of this rubble of neurotic loserdom that they're under. That's the first point. And another thing is that, and it's a related point, is that they will reach out. And reach out in a meaningful way, not reach out so as to drag you down into their rubble-filled coffin, but in a real way. And they won't just sort of reach out to whine and be codependent and again, have you share their loser space with them. They'll reach out because they want you to pull them out of the swamp they're in. Okay, and it's very clear whether they're reaching out in the one way or the other. It's very clear whether it's a reach out, meaning that they want you to pull them out of their coffin, or it's a reach down, meaning that they want to pull you into their coffin. That's always very clear. So, and if you kind of go in there and intervene without these conditions being met, you will find that these people go to hell and back after an initial period of appreciativeness, they will absolutely go to hell and back to ruin your life, to drag you into the hell they're in. And the reason is that most people who are losers like being losers because no work is involved. That's what being a loser is, and that's why people like it, and that's why there are so many losers, because it's easy. And the alternative is hard, and that's why people don't want to do it, and that's why they prefer instead just to go on YouTube and make comments, or they like to go on Amazon and review books. Okay, these are loser things to do. They're easy, and if you try to improve somebody, that's one thing. If you try to change them, that's another one. And doing the latter does not work.